Welcome to the Explainer. Okay, think about this. What if that watch on your wrist could spot a medical crisis and call for help before you even knew you were in trouble? Sounds like sci-fi, right? Well, today we're digging into how our gadgets are turning into our very first responders. And look, this question, it's not science fiction anymore at all. It's actually happening right now, and it's powered by the very devices we wear every single day. So the big question is, how on earth can a piece of tech know you're in trouble? Let's get into it. All right, so to really get how your watch could predict a crisis, we first have to wrap our heads around the big idea behind all of this. It's a concept called predictive first aid. Now, at its core, this is a huge shift in thinking. I mean, instead of just reacting to an emergency after the fact, these systems are all about getting ahead of the curve. They're designed to catch those super subtle early warning signs, way before things get really bad. And it all works through this really simple but incredibly powerful three-step process. First, it's constantly collecting data from your gadgets. Then, step 2, it uses AI to hunt for dangerous patterns in all that data. And finally, boom, it triggers an automated response, maybe an alert to you or even a call for help. Okay, so what kind of data is the AI actually looking at to make these, potentially life-saving predictions? I can tell you this, it's a whole lot more than just your step count. See, your wearable is basically keeping an eye on a whole stream of information. We're talking about really subtle stuff like tiny changes in your heart rate that could signal stress, or your blood oxygen levels, which can dip right before a crisis. It even looks at your skin temperature. You put all that together and it creates this amazing digital snapshot of what your body is doing, right here, right now. And here's the crucial part. The AI isn't just taking a wild guess. Not at all. It's been trained on massive data sets. We're talking millions of data points from actual medical cases. So it's literally learning to recognize these invisible digital fingerprints that scream something's wrong long before a crisis like a seizure or a cardiac arrest actually hits. This isn't just some far-off theory about the future. This stuff is already out there, in the real world, saving lives. So let's take a look at a few examples. Just look at this. The sheer range of conditions that can already be monitored by devices you can go out and buy today is pretty mind-blowing. We're talking everything from cardiac events and falls to seizures and blood sugar crises. The real-world uses for this are just exploding. I mean, you've probably seen the headlines about the Apple Watch, right? Its ability to spot atrial fibrillation, that's a kind of wonky heart rhythm that can lead to really serious problems. It has already alerted people, getting them to a doctor before something awful, like a stroke, could happen. And it's not just about heart health either. For people living with epilepsy, a device like the Embrace Watch is an absolute game changer. It tracks tiny changes in the skin and movement, and it can send an alert to a caregiver that a seizure is about to happen. I mean, can you imagine? That's a whole new level of security and peace of mind. But of course, like with any super powerful technology, this life-saving promise, it also comes with some pretty serious questions and honestly some big potential dangers that we really have to face. And this slide right here really gets to the heart of the dilemma. On one hand, you have the incredible promise of real-time alerts and just peace of mind. But on the other hand, we're staring down some brand new risks. False alarms that could cause total panic, huge questions about our data privacy, and a whole lot of murky legal territory. Let's dig a little deeper into that, because we really have to think about these hurdles. I mean, what happens when a false positive sends someone rushing to the ER for absolutely no reason? And who actually owns all of this super sensitive health data? And this one's critical. What if the algorithms are biased and don't work as well for certain groups of people? Or what if we start trusting the tech more than our own gut feelings? And that brings us to a massive, massive legal question that, frankly, society is just beginning to wrestle with. If an AI fails to predict your emergency, who's on the hook? The company that made the watch? The person who wrote the code? The truth is, right now, nobody really knows. The answer is anything but clear. So, where does this all go from here? What's next? Well, let's look at how this technology could grow way beyond just a personal alert on your wrist and actually start to reshape the entire emergency response system. The future here is all about creating these hyper-personalized emergency profiles that can literally speak for you when you can't. Just picture it. First responders show up on the scene and they already know your detailed medical history, what allergies you have, the medications you're on. They even know what your vital signs were just 2 minutes before the whole thing went down. Yeah, this is about connecting everything into one seamless, intelligent system. Your watch spots a problem and pings an AI dispatcher. That AI could then automatically route the best ambulance, maybe even launch a drone for search and rescue, all while it's feeding your real-time data to the ER team before you're even through the doors. It's a completely integrated chain of survival.
So, when you boil it all down, what this really represents is a fundamental shift in how we think about emergency care. We're moving away from our current, reactive model to a truly proactive one. It's the difference between racing to an emergency and basically getting there before it even starts.
And that really leaves us with a final, pretty provocative thought about where all of this is headed. As AI gets smarter, faster, and more accurate, the single most important factor in saving a life might not be the paramedic who arrives on scene. It might just be the prediction, the algorithm that sent them there in the first place.